Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavate Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishiki. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya. Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Okay. When Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 20, verse 27. So I'm going to try a slightly different way of reading. I'm going to read the word to word. Okay, because you get some little more insights. Atha abhaje tva akhila purusha uttamam guna alayam padmakara iva lalasaha api avayo ekapati sprudho kali nasyad krita tvat charana ekatanayoho. Now I wish to engage in the service of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Atha abhaje tva akhila purusha uttamam. So akhila purusha uttamam. So lotus feet of akhila purusha, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and to serve just like the goddess of fortune. Padma Kara. See, this is why we have to read these words, because now we'll get some nice Sanskrit words. Padma Kara, the goddess of fortune who carries a lotus flower in her hand. Padma Kara Iva, just like goddess of fortune who carries lotus flower in her hand, because his lordship, the Supreme Person of Godhead, is the reservoir of all transcendental qualities. Gunalayam. Gunalayam. So his Gunalayam is Purusha Uttamam. I am afraid that the goddess of fortune and I would quarrel, because both of us would be attentively engaged in the same service. So Lalasaha api, Lalasa, being greedy. Greedy. So being greedy for service, they'll quarrel. That's what Maharaj Prthu is saying. So now I wish to engage in the service of the lotus feet of the Supreme Person of Godhead and to serve just like the goddess of fortune. So Padmakara, who carries lotus flower in her hand, because his lordship is the reservoir of all transcendental qualities. His Gunalayam. I'm afraid that the goddess of fortune and I would quarrel, because both of us would be attentively engaged in the same service. The Lord here is addressed as Akhila Purushottama. Actually, is addressed here is Akhila Purushottama. The Supreme Person of Godhead, Lord of the entire creation. Purusha means enjoyer. Uttama, best enjoyer. Best enjoyer. There are different kinds of Purushas or enjoyers within the universe. Generally, they can be divided into three classes. Those who are conditioned, those who are liberated, and those who are eternal. Veda Supreme Lord is called as the Supreme Eternal of all eternals, Nityo Nityanam. Both the Supreme Person of Godhead and the living entities are eternal. The Supreme Eternals are the Vishnu Tattva. So here eternal means Vishnu Tattva. Then among Jiva Tattva there is Baddha and Mukta, conditioned and liberated. The Supreme Eternals are the Vishnu Tattva, the Lord Vishnu and his expansions. So Nitya refers to person of Godhead beginning from Krishna to Mahavishnu, Narayana and other expansions of Lord Krishna. All of them are Nitya. Stated in Brahma Samhita, Ramadi Murtishu, there are millions and trillions of expansions of Lord Vishnu as Rama, Narsimha, Varaha and other incarnations. All of them are called eternals. The word mukta refers to the living entities who never come within this material world. Elsewhere he says even if they come, uh, they have come for some mission. The Baddhas are those living entities who are almost eternally living within this material world. Almost. Because it's happened like long back. So it's almost like eternal. For such a long time. The Baddhas are struggling very hard within this material world to become free from the threefold miseries of material nature and to enjoy life. They're trying to enjoy life. But he is the Purusha Uttama. He is the best enjoyer. We're not supposed to be enjoying. We're supposed to cooperate in his enjoyment. Whereas the Muktas are always liberated. They never come into this material world. Lord Vishnu is the master of this material world, and there's no question of his being controlled by material nature. Consequently, Lord Vishnu is addressed here as Purushottama, the best of all living entities, namely Vishnu Tattvas and Jiva Tattvas. It is a great offense, therefore, to compare Lord Vishnu and the Jiva Tattva or consider them on equal level. And the Mayavadi philosophers equate Jivas and the Supreme Lord and consider them to be one. But that is the greatest offense. That is why Mayavadi, Krishna Aparadi. That is the greatest offense. To equate Jivas and the Supreme Lord. Here in the material world, we have practical experience that a superior person is worshipped by an inferior one. Similarly, Purushottama, the greatest, the supreme person of Godhead, Krishna or Lord Vishnu, is always worshipped by others. Prthu Maharaj therefore decided to engage in the service of the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Prthu Maharaj is considered to be an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, but he is called a Shaktyavesha avatar. Another significant word in this verse is Gunalayam, which refers to Vishnu as the reservoir of all transcendental qualities. The Mayavadi philosophers, in accordance with the impersonalistic view, take the absolute truth to be nirguna, without qualities. But actually, the Lord is the reservoir of all good qualities. See, here it is gunalayam. So how can nirguna actually mean no qualities? So nirguna means no material qualities. One of the most important qualities of the Lord is his inclination to his devotees, for which he is called Bhaktavatsala. The devotees are always very much inclined to render service unto the lotus feet of the Lord, and the Lord is also very much inclined to accept loving service from his devotees. The Lord is inclined to accept loving service from his devotees. In that exchange of service, there are many transcendental transactions, which are called transcendental qualitative activities. Some of the transcendental activities of the Lord are that he is omniscient, omnipresent, all-pervasive, all-powerful, cause of all causes, absolute truth, the reservoir of all pleasures, Rasavaisaha, reservoir of knowledge, the all auspicious, and so on. So transcendental qualities of the Lord. Prthu Maharaj desired to serve the Lord with the goddess of fortune, but this desire does not mean that he was situated on the platform of Madhurya Rasa. And the goddess of fortune is engaged in the service of the Lord in the rasa of Madhurya, conjugal love. Although her position is on the chest of the Lord, the goddess of fortune, in her position as a devotee, takes pleasure in serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Prthu Maharaj was thinking only of the lotus feet of the Lord because he is on the platform of Dasya. From the next verse, we learn that Prthu Maharaj was thinking of the goddess of fortune as the universal mother, Jagannatha. Consequently, there was no question of his competing with her on the platform of Madhurya Rasa. Nonetheless, he feared that she might take offense at his engaging in the service of the Lord. This suggests that in the absolute world, there is sometimes competition between servitors in the service of the Lord, but such competition is without malice. No hatred, no envy. In the Vaikuntha worlds, if a devotee excels in the service of the Lord, others do not become envious of his excellent service, but rather aspire to come to the platform of that service. And this is the Vaikuntha platform. This is not just in the Vaikuntha world, it should also be here among devotees. If somebody excels in service, others should not become envious, but rather they should aspire to come to that same platform of that service. Very, very important. Because if we have this envy, malice, then we can't enter the spiritual world. In spiritual world, everybody is transcendently competing to serve the Lord. Every devotee wants to serve, offer the best service. And it's that's the environment that actually, Prabhupada also, specifically with respect to book distribution, he used to do that, create transcendental competition. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Lalasa. Mm. Showing so much greed for that service. So he's saying just look at the mind of, look at his bhakti. He's saying, I might even have to compete with la goddess of fortune. That much greed to serve the lotus feet of the Lord. And this is qualification actually to go back to Krishna. Mm. Jagad Jananyam, Jagad Jananyam, Lakshmi Devi, Jagad Janani. Jagadisha Vaishasam Syad Eva Yat Karmani Na Samihitam Karoshi Plag Appi Uru Deenavatsalaha Swa Eva Dhishne Abhiratasya Kim Taya. My dear Lord of the Universe, Jagatisha, your Jagatisha, so Lakshmi Devi is Jagat Jananyam, Jagat Janani. The goddess of fortune is the mother of the universe, and yet I think that she may be angry with me because of my intruding upon her service. Uh, mm, mm, okay. This is Prabhupada is explaining. Mm, from the previous verse. So he's saying because he'll also serve lotus feet. Prthu Maharaj is also wanting to serve the lotus feet of the Lord. So Prabhupada is explaining. I think that she may be angry with me. She may be angry with me is here. Why? Because of my intruding upon her service and acting on that very platform to which she is so much attached. So this is Prabhupada's purport explanation. Yet I am hopeful that even though there is some misunderstanding, hmm, you will take my part, for you are very much inclined to the poor, and you always magnify even insignificant service unto you. So Deenavatsalaha. hmm, Therefore, even though she becomes angry, I think there is no harm for you because you are so self-sufficient that you can do without her. Mm. Abhiratasya. One is fully satisfied. So Prabhupada is explaining because you are fully satisfied, you can do without her. Kim Taya, what need is there with her? You are self-satisfied, but you are also favorably inclined to the poor. Karoshi Falgu Api, even if there's insignificant service, you magnify. Uru, make it very great. Mother Lakshmiji, the goddess of fortune, is well known for always massaging the lotus feet of Lord Narayana. She is an ideal wife because she takes care of Lord Narayana in every detail. Okay, so important quality. She takes care not only of his lotus feet but of the household affairs of the Lord as well. Uh, she cooks nice foods for him, pans him while he eats, smooth sandalwood pulp on his face, and sets his bed and sitting places in the right order. In this way, she is always engaged in the service of the Lord, and there is hardly any opportunity for any other devotee to intrude upon his daily activities. Prthu Maharaj was therefore almost certain that his intrusion into the service of goddess of fortune would irritate her and cause her to become angry with him. But why should Mother Lakshmi, the mother of the universe, be angry with an insignificant devotee like Prthu Maharaj? All this was not very likely, yet Prthu Maharaj, just for his personal protection, appealed to the Lord to take his part. Prthu Maharaj was engaged in performing the ordinary Vedic rituals and sacrifice according to Karma Kanda. But the Lord, being so kind and magnanimous, was ready to award Prthu Maharaj the highest perfectional stage of life, namely devotional service. Prabhupada is saying that he was doing Karma Kanda, but Lord was ready to give him perfectional stage. So all this was not very likely. When a person performs Vedic rituals and sacrifices, he does so to elevate himself to the heavenly planets. No one can become qualified to go back home, back to Godhead by means of such sacrifices. But the Lord is so kind that he accepts a little insignificant service, and therefore it is stated in Vishnu Purana that by following the principles of Varnashrama, Varnashrama, Charavata, Puman, Vishnu Raradyate, or Bhagavatam says, what is that? From Siddhir Haritoshanam. So satisfy the Supreme Lord. When the Lord is satisfied, the performer of sacrifices is elevated to the platform of devotional service. When one follows the principles of Varnashrama and lives in such a way that the Lord is satisfied, then he is elevated to the platform of devotional service. This is why Varnashrama is important. Because for those who are not ready to come to the platform devotional service, maybe they want material, they have material desires. So it's good. We should engage them in Varnashrama principles, so that eventually they'll get elevated to the platform devotional service. So this is the key. When the Lord is satisfied, the performer is elevated to the platform devotional service. Prthu Maharaj therefore expected that his insignificant service to the Lord would be accepted by him as being greater than that of Lakshmi ji. The goddess of fortune is called Chanchala, restless, because she is very restless and is always coming and going. So Prthu Maharaja indicated that even though she might go away out of anger, there would be no harm for Lord Vishnu because he is self-sufficient and can do anything and everything without the help of Lakshmi ji. But the Lord is very merciful, he won't take these words, broken words, very seriously. Because who can compare? Who can? Prthu Maharaj was, uh, he's like talking like equal with Lakshmi ji, but Lord is like, just forgive. For example, when Garbhodakashaya Vishnu begot Lord Brahma from his navel, he did not take any help from Lakshmi, who was just sitting by him and massaging his lotus feet. Generally, if a son is to be begotten, the husband impregnates the wife, and in due course of time, the son is born. But in case of Lord Brahma's birth, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu did not impregnate Lakshmi ji. Being self-sufficient, Lord begot Brahma from his own navel. Therefore, Prthu Maharaj was confident that even if the goddess of fortune became angry with him, there would be no harm neither to the Lord nor to himself. Of course, I mean, not that the Lord is only looking at, okay, service, somehow service will happen. I'm Atma Rama. I'm all powerful. So I will do everything. I can take care of everything. Um, no, because the whole idea is actually loving relationship. It's not just about service. If it is just service, that is why we are not offering food to Krishna to eat. We are offering love. Krishna doesn't want any food to eat. So Prthu Maharaj is thinking more functionally. So yeah, no harm. Even if goddess of fortune goes because he is Atma Rama, but that's not how the Lord looks at his relationship with his devotees. So this is like a little bit uh, yeah, conversation. Bhajanti ata tvam ata eva sadho yudasta maya guna vibhrama udayam bhavat padanu anusmaranad rite satam nimittam anyat bhagavan na vidmahe. Great saintly persons who are always liberated, take to your devotional service. Because only by devotional service can one be relieved from the illusions of material existence. Bhajati atha, therefore, tvam atha eva, therefore, sadavaha, saintly persons, great saintly persons, vyudasta maya guna, who are not dispel modes of, not affected by modes of nature. That is, they are liberated. Those who are liberated, they take to your devotional service. Bhavat pada anusmaranat. So here it is Anusmaranat, constantly remembering. Prabhupada is translating that as devotional service. Because only by devotional service can one be relieved from the illusions of material existence. Vibhrama, from the Vibhrama. Oh my Lord, there's no reason for the liberated souls to take shelter of your lotus feet except that such souls are constantly thinking of your lotus feet. Uh, there's no reason for the liberated souls to take shelter except that such souls are constantly thinking of your lotus feet. Okay, I don't completely understand that. And the karmis are generally engaged in fruitive activities for material bodily comforts. Gnanis are disgusted with searching after material comforts. They understand that they have nothing to do with this material world, being spirit souls. After self-realization, the gnanis who are actually mature in their knowledge, Bhavanam Janmanamante, must surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Self-realization is not complete unless one comes to the devotional platform. Therefore, it is stated in the Bhagavatam that those who are Atma Rama, self-satisfied, are freed from the contamination of the modes of material nature. As long as one is affected by the modes of material nature, especially by Rajas and Tamas, he will be greedy and lusty and will therefore engage in hard tasks, laboring all day and night. Tada rajo tada rajas tamo bhava kama laubhajayastaye chetayete ranabidham Sitam Sattve Prasidati. By devotional service. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatir uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By devotional service, when one comes to the stage of nishta, tado rajas tamo bhava kama loba daische kama loba. So all this will get destroyed. Sitam sattve prasidati. And the devotee is situated in goodness. Sitam sattve, in sattva. Prasidati, and he'll be happy. Evam prasanna manaso. Like that. So when by doing devotional service, by doing Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, we should come to the stage of Nishta. That is, all the anarthas should have gone. Anartha Nivritti. Post Anartha Nivritti, we come to the stage of Nishta. Bhaktir Bhagavati Naishtiki. So our bhakti becomes Naishtiki, Nishtha Bhakti, by Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Right? And then what happens? Tado Rajas Tamo Bhavaha. Kama Lobha. So this Kama, lust, Lobha. So this Rajas, Tamas, Kama, Lobha. All of these will go. That is the indication if we are actually making progress. So and this is the test also. By Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, we should come to the stage of goodness. And we can see that if we are affected too much by tamas and rajas, that means our Nityam Bhagavata Seva is not happening, like we discussed yesterday. Chanting is happening, but chanting is on the platform of Nama Parad. What else are we doing in devotional service which are going to actually propel us forward? Only thing is Nityam Bhagavata Seva, because all other services also will be on the platform of our current consciousness, which is in Rajas and Tamas. So the only thing which can actually help us to come to Sattva is Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So if we do Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, then actually we will come to this stage of being free from Rajas and Tamas. Otherwise, as long as one is affected by these modes of Rajas, Tamas, greedy and lusty, they'll always engage in laboring hard tasks day and night. Such false egoism carries one from species of life, one species of life into another perpetually. And there's no rest in any species of life. The Gnani understands this fact and therefore ceases to work and takes to karma sannyasa. And so we should not be too attached to this work. Work is bondage. Karma bandhana, we should understand that work is bondage. Somehow, unfortunately in ISKCON, the mood seems to be that, okay, somehow I'm doing a little bit devotional service. Let me also get good results from my work. But this is continuing existence in the material world. It's not going to take us out. It's not going to pull us. Our rajas and tamas will continue. So it just remains at best Mishra Bhakti. So it's not really useful. It's not really useful. It's not the aim. not the reason why Srila Prabhupada started ISKCON. So, come on, we have to plan to cease work. Actually, we should stop this work business. No, or yeah, work and give everything to Krishna. That is okay. That is complete karma sannyasa, right? And that is also if it is inevitable, means like sometimes like yeah, we're trying to run temple centers and there's so much of money required, and okay, money is not coming. Okay, somebody who's qualified might go out and work and earn money and give the whole money to Krishna. But if there are others to earn and give, then qualified devotee should not do that working business. That working business is for really people who are not completely serious, because 24 hours we need to do devotional service. How can we do devotional service if you're engaged in work? So sometime, as I've been saying, right, we have to get out of this work business. This might not be the right time, but as soon as we finish off our material duties, we have to give up work. Work is low class. Yet this is not actually the platform of satisfaction. Mm. Which one? Even just giving up karma sannyas is also not platform of satisfaction. After self-realization, material wisdom of the Gnani leads him to the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Bhavanam janmanam ante gnanavan mam prapadyate. Shelter of the lotus feet. Surrenders to the lotus feet. Then he is satisfied. Only in contemplating the lotus feet of the Lord constantly. Please note this, constantly. How do we contemplate on the lotus feet of the Lord constantly? So, for which we should be only doing activities of bhakti. I don't know. I spoke about that this one, right? Where I spoke about from Vikarma to Kevala Bhakti. Did I talk about that sometime? Okay, anyway, so I'm going to share on screen. Just let me know if I've already shared or done this exercise yet. Stop share screen. So first stage is Vikarma. What is Vikarma? Anybody? Quickly.
Hare Krishna, that which the dharma says not to do.
Yeah, sinful. Sinful activities is Vikarma. Okay, then we come to karma. What is karma? Prescribed.
Prescribed duties.
Prescribed activities, duties, etc. Okay. Now, then here there will be two types. So there will be Sakama and Nishkama. Right? What is Sakama? With desire.
With desire, that is without desire.
Nishkama is without desire. So first stage of human life is to stop Vikarma, come to the stage of karma and do Sakama. So initially people do Sakama. And then one has to make progress to come to Nishkama, which means we are doing our prescribed duties without desire. And all this can happen only if somebody is working within the Varnashrama system. Now, then after this Nishkama karma, then there can be karma yoga, right? Where the results are offered to Krishna. Okay, but this karma yoga, also the focus here is more on karma than yoga. So this is called Bhakti Mishra Karma. Okay, so this Bhakti Mishra Karma. So this is called, it's like in chemistry, we represent this as B1, one molecule of B1, K2, two molecules of K2, meaning lot of karma and there's little bhakti, like we do 2 hours of bhakti and 22 hours of work. This is Bhakti Mishra Karma. Some mixture of bhakti in this, but predominantly it's karma. And karma is actually, anyway, this is K3, meaning full of only karma, 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 right? Then bhakti mishra karma we should come to. So this is like before bhakti, before coming to devotion, before coming to devotion. When one comes to devotion, we start doing this. So this is like grihastha life. Okay. Then what we have to do? Karma, mishra, bhakti. We have to come to the stage of B2, K1. Means we should reverse. So this is end of grihastha, right? So where there is some karma is there, but majorly bhakti. So which means we started maybe with 2 hours bhakti and we ended up with how many hours by end of grihastha?
24 hours.
Hey, you know, we can not 6 to 8 hours. Okay. So this is end of grihastha where we do 6 to 8 hours. Then we should come to what is called as kevala bhakti. What is kevala bhakti means? B3, meaning K0, no karma. And this kevala bhakti is 16 hours bhakti daily. This has to be our goal. This is how we have to move. And then Prabhupada somewhere says that if we do kevala bhakti for 15 to 18 years, then we achieve perfection. This is okay? This is clear? Anybody has any questions?
No,
So we
no,
have to come
Prabhu.
to this K0 stage. K0, karma has to become 0. And one has to be engaged 16 hours daily, right? Because if there is no karma, then we got 16 hours, right? Now only 8 hours is for sleep and bath and this and that and all, eating and all that. So if we live like this for 15 to 18 years in one life, we achieve perfection, right? So this is the path. So let's not be confused about, various things that are being told in ISKCON nowadays. We have to focus on moving in this path. We have to come to Kevala Bhakti. There's no doubt about it, right? So this is actually Vanaprastha. Okay. So this is the process. This is what is called constantly when we come to that B3. Prthu Maharaj therefore concluded that liberated persons taking to the devotional path have acquired the ultimate goal of life. If liberation were the end in itself, there would be no question of a liberated persons taking to devotional service. In other words, transcendental bliss derived from self-realization, known as Atmananda, is very insignificant in the presence of the bliss derived from devotional service to the lotus feet of the Lord. Prthu Maharaj therefore concluded that he would simply hear of the glories of the Lord constantly and thus engage his mind for the lotus feet of the Lord. That is the highest perfection of life. So Prabhupada says that, reading one purport. Yeah. One should hear with rapt attention from the real person, and then he can at once realize the presence of Lord Krishna in every page. Now look at this very beautiful analysis. One cannot give rapt attention if he is not pure in mind. So the whole point here is one should hear with rapt attention from the real person, meaning Bhagavata. And then he can at once realize the presence of Lord in every page. And this is the idea that we should hear with rapt attention. Now Prabhupada is analyzing who can hear in rapt attention. If he is not pure in mind, he cannot hear. So only one who is pure in mind can hear, give rapt attention. Who can be pure in mind? Who is pure in action? So one who is not pure in action is not pure in mind. Who can be pure in action? Who is pure in eating, sleeping, mating, defending? So this is the whole life. This is why how we live life decides actually even whether we can even give rapt attention to hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. If we are engaged completely, nonsense, impure, contaminated, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, then how can we give rapt attention to Bhagavatam? But then Prabhupada is saying, okay, somehow or other, okay, maybe impure, but somehow or other, if someone hears with rapt attention from the right person, then he's still going to make progress. At the very beginning, one can assuredly see Lord Krishna in person in the pages of Bhagavatam. So somehow or other, the somehow or other puts responsibility on preachers. Somehow or other, we have to make people hear with rapt attention. Now, for this somehow or other, one another solution is prasadam. So we've seen this in our temple. We've seen this in our preaching centers also. Some devotees initially just come for prasadam, and then over a period of 6 months, prasadam, and they come to Harinam, maybe Aarti. They don't like to sit in class. They sit in class, they sleep. So because that is because of rajas and tamas, mainly tamas at that point of time, but generally affected by lower modes. The purification has to happen. Now, how can the purification happen? For him to sit here with rapt attention, purification happens through Harinam and Prasadam. And that is why Prabhupada has given us a complete full pack solution, right? We don't have to invent something new, not required. And process is already there, very clear, well established, proven. So we don't have to try to invent something new by our, tiny brain. We just simply follow what Prabhupada has given, and we will see success in our preaching. So somehow we have to give prasadam, give harinam, and then somehow slowly they'll come to hearing. And we have to create the platform for hearing. If we don't create platform for hearing, then then it's not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Krishna consciousness movement, because he was the one who gave emphasis on Shravanam Kirtan. Okay, so I'll end here if there are any questions, comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, pranam.
Yeah.
Regarding yesterday's question, Prabhu.
Yeah. Can you please?
It is, we say, what was it? They say you get benedictions even in the Swarga and the Loka thing. So we said, I was saying that this is just karma bhumi. Over there, we just get the fruits of what we have, like in a bank, we deposit something. So we are just draining that out. So how do you get benedictions there, Prabhu? Like unless you are Krishna conscious, and which is very, very very rare in both the places.
Oh yeah, okay. You're saying how somebody who's gone to Swarga can get benediction.
Yes.
Okay,
and even,
that is.
And even in the Patala.
Yeah. So this not getting benedictions in Swarga or Patala is material. They can't accumulate material karma. They can't get material punya. Right? But they can get spiritual. There is no restriction.
How do you get spiritual this thing there, Prabhu?
Association of devotees. Narada Muni will come.
Okay. And
so there are various ways. Like for example, in Sutala, Lord himself is present. Right? In Swarga, Lord himself is present. Right? So just that we have to just turn towards the Lord. Lord is there. Here in Karma Bhumi, we can't see the Lord. But Lord so mercifully is present both in upper planetary system and lower planetary system. Right? Visible to the eyes of common people.
Then both the places are better than the earth now, because at least we can, okay, but then you have to have that consciousness to realize.
That is why it is Bhumi, right?
Yes,
because little bit suffering is required. Otherwise, nobody wants to. See, even in Swarga, when do all these demigods turn towards Vishnu? Only when some asuras are behind them, right? But then ordinary jivas in Swarga will not have this opportunity, right? So if you have to become exalted demigod, then there's a possibility. But how do you become an exalted demigod? You have to do a lot of punya karma here. So, and we know position of demigods also not very safe, right? So safest directly from earth, pure, like I said, Vikarma to Kevala Bhakti,
Got it.
and then direct No distraction anywhere else.
Yes. Yeah, because we always keep seeing Indra is always fighting with the Lord there. Fine. Yes, Prabhu, got it.
Yeah. Okay. Ramakrishna Prabhu, this is the screen you wanted. Vikarma to. Okay. Yeah. Anything else? Anybody? Okay. Is that okay, Ramakrishna Prabhu? You
Yes,
can
Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
photo. Yeah.
Yeah, I took the screenshot.
Okay. Right. Okay. So we'll close here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vancha Kalpataru Bhishta Kripa Sindhu Devati Dana Bhavani Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Koti Vaishnava ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Pranam.
Hare Krishna.